Hello, my spy guns, it is I, Art of Blood, the girl next door. And this would be the Vampire Tag 2018. I saw this on Horror Gal's channel, but I do believe that she said Carnage Candy came up with it. I think. You can, double check. I did one myself about a year ago. It's not that far down my channel. You can find it. It's top 10 vampire films and a vampire tag. But here we go. Always good to join in on someone else's. Question number 1. What is your favorite vampire film and why? I have a toss-up between 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola and 1987's The Lost Boys, and I'm going with The Lost Boys for this, simply because it broke the mold. End of story. It changed how vampires were viewed. Pulled a lot from Anne Rice, but still, it created a whole new subgenre. Question number 2, vampires or werewolves? Vampires. Okay. Question number 3, the most brutal vampire in a film you have seen. I am going to go with John Carpenter's Vampires and the character of Vedek. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, this one is based on the book Vampires by John Steakley. Before you even see the character, you're introduced from his point of view, and he's just ripping people to shreds with, cutting people in half with just his fingernails and ripping skulls up. It's for the first, kind of introduction to the character, it's pretty damn brutal. Question number 4, what is your favorite vampire transition? I would have to go with Midnight Kiss. The lead character, she gets attacked and turned into a vampire, and she fights it pretty much the whole time, but she's a cop, so she starts to embrace the supernatural abilities, these new strengths that she has, in order to catch a serial killer who ends up being the vampire that turned her. So there's this great push-pull mentality where she doesn't want it, but she does want it, and she's got to kind of accept certain elements of herself. So I should actually do a review on that. Question number 5. What is the silliest or worst vampire film you have seen so far? By far, I know a lot of people said Twilight, but you know what? I have seen a gazillion vampire movies, and Twilight is one of the better ones. I hate saying it, but it's true. But it's a toss-up for me. Transylvania and Vamps. They're terrible. These are movies that I bought without ever watching them beforehand. And, yeah. So, Transylvania, it's about a bunch of college students who go to Transylvania on student exchange, and they just vampires and vampire hunters and Frankenstein and a hunchback, and it's just weird. It's not funny. It's gross more than... It's a very raunchy movie. It's kind of pointless, and it's not even funny. And then Vamps. A lot of the members from the cast of Clueless got together for, I guess, a semi-reunion. And all they did was they cashed in on the whole Sex and the City idea. And it's not funny. Which is sad, because you've got Sigourney Weaver and Wallace Shawn and Alicia Silverstone, and it should be good. With names like that, it should be good, but it's just the premise. You got one vampire. She's been a vampire for like 150, 200 years, and her best friend, who's only been a vampire for like 25 years. And she's hiding how old she really is, and there's a chance for them to stop being vampires, and it just kind of falls flat. It really does. Question number 6. What is the best vampire parody? One of the rare movies that I don't actually have in my collection. I would have to say Vampires Suck. And again, it's a parody of the Twilight series, of the first 2 Twilights, actually. And there's moments where it's actually better than the Twilight movies, but that's another story all on itself. Question number 7. What is the first vampire film you remember seeing? That would be the original 1931 Bela Lugosi version of Dracula. And as I have been told, my uncle was babysitting me. I was 6 months old. He put me in front of the television set. Bela Lugosi's was on, the Dracula was on, and he said when the movie ended, I cried. I slapped my hands on the screen, kind of like, where'd it go? Bring it back. And I have actually been a vampire fan. I have been obsessed with vampires my entire life. So, question number 8. Your favorite real life or fictional vampire, or both? Well, I am going to go with both. Kind of a mixture. Dracula, the Dark Prince, starring Rudolph Martin. He actually plays Vlad the Impaler. This is more of a biopic than a vampire movie. The whole vampire thing doesn't really come in till the very end of the movie. So this is more about Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Tepes. But it is played by Rudolph Martin, and he is brilliant in this. If you are a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show, he played Dracula for one episode, season 5, episode 1. And also, same question, and this is going to sound really horrible to a lot of people, but this is another both category, as this would be true crime. Roderick Farrell. I know it's going to sound really, really horrible, but in this movie, Vampire Clan, he's played by Drew Fuller from Charmed. But it is about the I don't want to call him a serial killer because it was really only like 2 people. But it was the teenage vampire killers in the 1990s, and what I have read the actual true crime biographies and seen interviews and stuff, and Roderick Farrell was very manipulative. He had a lot of the traditional folklore, psychology, vampire traits. So there's a lot of blurring the lines between fact and fiction. So this is why I'm saying both, not real, not fiction, but both. Okay, I went through that pretty quickly. Some of these I do have reviews coming up soon, and I guess tag you're it. I would actually like to see, if they haven't done it already, I would like to see Dino and Ted from the Late Late Horror Show do this. So you've been tagged. Until next time, creeping screams. Don't forget to come back often, subscribe, leave me some comments, and leave me some love.